My Divine Parent by Mrs. Deepa Singh. In 1968, one of my father's clients told him that God had incarnated on earth. My father, a chartered accountant in Kolkata, burst out laughing at first, but the client politely convinced him to visit the house of a particular Madhuri Lal Amma, where he could witness the miracles of this God. My father was convinced that some magic or trickery was involved, but to please the client, he went to the particular house with my mother. Experiencing God entering the place, they saw a large photo of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, covered in a fine, fluffy, grey ash called Vibhuti. Right before their eyes, the Vibhuti kept falling from the picture. My skeptical father was taken aback. But the more profound experience was the peace and joy he felt. He found himself becoming reverential toward Baba. However, my mother was still having doubts. Suddenly, she felt two flames emerge from Baba's eyes and enter her own. She fainted from that experience. She regained consciousness and also gained faith in Swami, fully convinced of his divinity. That day, my parents returned home with a picture of Swami and announced, "He is Sai Baba, the Kalki avatar." I was just 5 years old and straightaway believed what my parents said. Swami instantly became my God. However, my elder brother, who was 15 years old, was not convinced. While my brother's doubts still lingered for years, in 1970, my father sent him to Puttaparthi. Those days it took a long and arduous journey from Kolkata to reach Prashanti Nilayam. But my father felt it would be worthwhile if it could help my brother's journey from doubt to faith. My skeptical brother had prepared a long list of questions to ask Baba and scrutinize him. If Baba called him for an interview, he felt he would sort out things finally. That is precisely what happened, but not as my brother had assumed. Swami came to him directly and, with a smile, asked about me. "Kaho Deepa kaisi hai?" "Tell me, how is Deepa?" That single act of omniscience convinced him of Swami's omnipresence, omnipotence, and divinity. Tears rolled down his cheeks, and he realized his father's declaration was verily true. Baba spoke to him for a while, guiding him for further studies and winning his heart. Accepting me as his daughter in 1971, while praying and meditating, my mother felt Swami telling her, "Come to Prashanti Nilayam with Deepa." Upon inquiring, she discovered that a few devotees were traveling by train from Kolkata to Puttaparthi. But their tickets had already been booked. My father informed Madhuri Amma, the trip organizer, about Swami's instructions to my mother. To his surprise, that very day, two devotees cancelled their tickets, which were purchased for us. The next day, during her meditation, my mother felt Swami instructing her, "Bring your other two daughters also." Unbelievably, the same cycle repeated again, with my father informing Madhuri Amma and two devotees cancelling their tickets. Thus, the four of us travelled together in the same train compartment from Kolkata to Puttaparthi. We reached Puttaparthi, rented a room outside, and enjoyed multiple darshan daily. We didn't realize how a week sped by. After a week, the group was about to return to Kolkata. My mother sought Swami's permission to return, but he said, "Kucho Amma, sit, lady." The group returned home, but we stayed on. Days turned into weeks turned into months. Though our finances were exhausted within a week, we enjoyed a beautiful golden period of our lives for another 3 months. We would stay under a tree inside the ashram, sleeping on a bed sheet spread on the sand in the shade. We would go to the Chitravati river for our baths, ablutions, and also to play. Father would send money for our stay every week by money order. After some time, my mother began volunteering to clean the ashram. As if a reward for her seva, we were allowed to sleep inside the mandir itself. My father fell sick in Kolkata during that time and had severe asthma attacks. We were not aware of it as he didn't tell us. One night when the suffering became unbearable, he sat up and cried, "Sai Ma, I cannot bear this pain anymore. Either give me relief or take away my life." Within moments, Sai Ma appeared to him in a white sari, blessed him, and vanished. The very next day, my father recovered. He immediately travelled to Puttaparthi and joined us. It was all part of Swami's master plan as he called my mother and us, the three daughters, for an interview. He told my mother that she worried a lot about her daughter's wedding, assuring her that he would look after us. Then he said, "You wanted Deepak, but Baba gave you Deepa." Both Deepak and Deepa mean light in Sanskrit. While Deepak is a boy's name, Deepa is a girl's name. Then he called for me. My mother gestured to me to touch his feet. I fell at his feet and held on to them firmly. Finally, Swami had to bend down and lift me up. He asked me to take the vibhuti packets he was giving. I stretched out my hands, but he said, "Your hands are too small, hold up your frock." I held up my dress, and he filled it with vibhuti packets. Swami called my father in for an interview the next day and asked, "Is Deepa your daughter?" I understood that Swami is my divine parent, and I am his daughter. It made me feel that I had some connection with Swami in my previous births as well. After 3 months of stay, we returned to Kolkata and started daily bhajans at home. We also held Akhanda Bhajan 4 times a year. Our home became a heaven by Swami's blessings. Swami took care of every need. In due course, I married Manoj, who, by Swami's grace, was transformed from an atheist to a theist. I pray to Swami that he keeps showering his blessings on all of us, always. Mrs. Deepa Singh.